Appreciate everybody coming today. Thank you for being a part of my audience. My name is Greg Collins, and I'm giving an informative speech titled Coaches and Role Models, and they will have an impact. Now, according to statisticbrain.com and the various sources they use, like surveys and things of that nature, as of 2013, 35 million kids ages 5 to 18 play organized sports. Now, with so many of today's youth playing organized sports, the duties and responsibilities of a coach go far beyond drawing up plays and making sure the travel bus is in working order to get them to the big game. Now, today's information is important to you, whether you are a future coach or a parent who has children involved in organized sports, because coaches spend so much time with these kids and they will have an inevitable impact, and you need to know the things that they're responsible for doing. Today we're going to look at the different hats coaches wear, we're going to look at the duties and responsibilities coaches have, and we're going to look at the things coaches have kind of done in the past, like some of the mistakes they've made, and the things they've done today to correct those to be the most effective leader for your children. So let me first turn your attention to the roles of a coach. Now, the 1995 article from the Chronicle of Higher Education, Texas A&M head baseball coach Mark Johnson was quoted in a personal interview saying, "Coaches are teachers first." Now, coaches understand they have an extra responsibility and they're held to higher standards more than anybody else. Coaches have to make sure their players are performing well in the athletic arena. Coaches are making sure that their student athletes are performing well in the classroom. And coaches are also realizing that today they have to combine those aspects so when these kids leave these high school doors, they can be successful in life. And one of the great tools coaches use today is that the athletic arena is an extension of the classroom. Just like a student in the classroom who has to study and prepare for a test, they do the same thing on sports day. On big game day, they have to prepare, they have to study for their opponent, and then their test is that very game day, that same thing. So the coaches know this, and they make sure to combine those together to know that you have to be successful in both aspects, and again, the more important aspect of when you leave this high school and go on to your future life. Now, we know we looked at coaches or teachers first, but we have to look at the duties and responsibilities coaches have. And according to Dr. David Hoke in a 2005 article called Coaches Are Role Models from the National Federation of State High School Association website, he confirms this very fact. Coaches are role models in several different areas. Language, sportsmanship, appearance, work ethic, and many things of that nature. Now, coaches set rules and regulations for these very things and more. Now, the biggest thing that coaches do is that once these rules and regulations are set, they have to follow them themselves. Alright? So when a coach says a specific no swearing rule, the coach isn't going to be saying any swear words. If a coach tells you to be here at practice for 7, the coach will be here by 6:30 or earlier, showing these kids that not only do you have to have discipline and loyalty and integrity and all these things in your sporting event, but you have to have that in the classroom as well as when you go out to the business world with your job, with your boss telling you to be here on time. All these things working together, coaches are teaching you through the world of sports. Now, coaches aren't perfect, although sometimes they're kind of held to a standard that they should be, but they're not. And some of the mistakes in the past were when coaches were teaching by techniques that, well, this is how I was taught, so this is how it's going to be taught to you. Alright, coaches are starting to get away from that a little bit, and Elizabeth Tursky and Dennis Gallagher, who are the authors of the June 2011 article, Know Thyself, Coaching for Leadership Using Kolb's Experiential Theory. They talked about how coaches unknowingly use their own preferred learning method to try and teach all their student athletes. We've realized that's ineffective. You're not going to be able to reach 50 to 100 kids that way. You're probably not even going to be able to reach all 10 kids that way if you just, this is how I learned, so this is how I'm going to teach it, and that's it. Alright, now, David A. Kolb, an experiential theorist, came up with this model, the 4 modes of the learning cycle: concrete experience, reflective observation, abstract conceptualization, and active experimentation. Alright? Some of these things can kind of be hard to understand, so he actually broke it down even further and put it into feeling, watching, thinking, and doing. Alright? Now, to go along with that, he also came up with the 4 learning styles. We have diverger, assimilator, converger, and accommodator. And as you can see, they all have some kind of combination of 2. Feel and watch and think and do and feel. Alright? Students are no longer, they're not learning by one way, or they can't just learn the coach's way. Alright? And coaches are taking steps like learning these models, taking courses, going to coaches' clinics, all so they can become a more experienced and the required leader that your children deserve. Now, with the things we've discussed today, I'll put things in perspective for you. With so many youth involved in today's sports, again, coaches' duties and responsibilities go far beyond that of making sure the travel bus is in order and making sure they've drawn up the right correct plays. Alright? We talked about 3 aspects of coaches' roles. They are different hats they wear, the roles they portray, teachers, coaches, things of that nature. And they also the duties and responsibilities we discussed, and then also where we've come from in the past as coaches and the mistakes that were being made and how they've corrected those steps today. Alright? Now, the last thing I'll leave you with is that with the amount of time coaches spend with kids, they're usually second only to parents. So with that being the case, coaches spend so much time with student athletes that the things they do, the things they say, the things they think will be emulated by the kids. Alright? So that just kind of brings back my point to coaches are role models and they will have an impact. Thank you.